I've never really had the closest relationship with my dad. I feel like I was never allowed to be myself in a sense and express my full authenticity around him. It's like I feel like he had a standard of what he wanted his son to be like. And so it's like growing up, it's kind of always been hard, again, trying to be my authentic self. Like, there'd be times when my dad, he would get mad for things that weren't even something that was worth getting upset over. It wasn't just for me, it was from my sister and I. It's like we both grew up living with our mom. And, we would go to our dad's on the weekends. And it's like, I knew every single time we went to his house, we had to kind of stay on our toes because we knew something would pop off. Like, he would get upset over something that really isn't a big deal. Within our own actions or whatever it was, he would just get upset over something that you shouldn't get upset over. Like, there was no point to it. I would always remember being at his crib and thinking, I can't wait until I get home. I can't wait until I can tell my mom that, he's doing this again. His behavior is just unacceptable, I want to put just a little disclaimer, my dad is not a bad guy. And I had to come to that understanding too, that he's not a bad guy, he's not a perfect person, how he was raised was different from how I was raised. And yes, I may have wanted him to be accepting of my personality, be accepting of the way, of what I like, being accepting of how I move through the world. But it's like I had to come to understanding that maybe he didn't receive that type of room to be himself, receive that type of space to express his emotions. Because that's one thing I feel like I just could never do, was like express my emotions, be me. It's like, since I'm my mama's boy, I express my emotions. That's just part of who I am. And I feel like by spending so much time with my mom, he wasn't really able to see that a lot, growing up. See that side of who I am. And so it's like, there would be times where I would in a sense challenge the idea of who he thought I was. By like telling him or either showing him like, this is who I am. Within my actions or, within what I voiced to him. And it's like, I feel like every single time I would do that, he would just, in a sense, have some sort of problem with it. And so it's like, I just stopped. I stopped trying to show all of who I am. Like, I started to, in a sense, just hide parts of who I am. Parts that I show my mom, that I show others. I just started to not express that towards him, so it's like we could keep the peace. That was my main thing, and I think that's where I started to develop the habit of not wanting to be confrontational with people. Because, my dad, my dad's a Caribbean parent, Jamaican, you know what I mean? And within his culture, they speak a different way, they communicate a different way. They talk loud. When the words they usually speak, it seems like they're angry, when they express. And that's how it was for him when he expresses himself. It seems like he's angry for some reason. And he would always tell me, like, no, I'm not angry, that's how I usually talk. But it's like the way he just expressed himself and within his tone, within his actions, it just gave off something very different. I think that's just what contributed to me being hard for me to express who I am and kind of, in a sense, confront the things that bothered me, in regards to his own behavior. But it's like, as I've gotten older, I would say I'll go back to high school, my high school graduation. Within that time of me graduating high school, a situation came up where my sister got into it with my dad, and my sister was giving her 2 cents of what she really thinks about him and how she's felt growing up. When I saw her doing that, I felt like it was my time to do the same. I felt like it was my time to express why I feel the way I feel, why I feel like we just don't have a close-knit relationship the way he thinks that we do. But yeah, I just felt like it was my time to do so. And so it's like when I did, it did not go the way I expected. He thought I was lying. He thought I was, in a sense, brainwashed by my mom into saying all this. It's like, no way you feel this way. You didn't say this back then. You didn't say this, da-da-da. And it's like I tried to, but I just didn't have the voice, you know? It's like, in a sense, I understood my place. It's like, I'm a kid. He's an adult. And he made that very clear, too. It's like, I'm your father. Whatever I say goes. And I mean, that's true to an extent. That's true, for sure, to an extent. But in terms of my expression, my own self-expression, I felt like that was just limited in regards to when I was trying to ever interact with him. And so, yeah, I grew up, I feel like just hiding myself from him until that very moment. And it's like ever since then, we have not talked. Like, our communication in a sense was very, very limited. You know, I have not seen him since my graduation. And mind you, I graduated in 2023. And I have not seen him since then. So it's been, what, 3 years since I've seen him. And so it's like now I'm in the process of just trying to figure out who I am, you know, as a man, you know, without some male figure in my life, which at times I feel like it's, I don't know, it's interesting. It's interesting. Like, I really would want a dad in my life. I really would want to have a grandfather to my kids one day. Like, I would really love that, and I would want it to be him. But it's like, I feel like what's kept us from amending our relationship has been really his resistance. That's what it feels like from my perspective, of him really seeing my side, from hearing my side of the story. That's what's kept us apart, is where he just couldn't understand where I'm coming from. Like, I'm not coming from a place to attack him and prove that he's wrong and all that. Like, I don't care about that. Like, I just want to express the way I've been feeling, express who I am. I've always felt that way. And it's like, I feel like I've never been able to do that comfortably around him. And so it's like, now I am still open to conversing with my dad and trying to amend our relationship, you know? It's like something I had to understand not too long ago, where I had a breakthrough moment, honestly. In a sense, my dad is just a boy. My dad is just a boy who became a man, who grew up and became older. I mean, that's kind of what it's like for all our parents. Your parents are just a girl, or your parent is just a boy, just like us. It's like, in a sense, giving them grace is important, you know? Sometimes we don't get the parents that we would desire. Sometimes we don't get the love, the validation, the security that we desire for our parents growing up. We expect our parents to do this, do that for us, give this to us, give us all the things that we desire. It's like, sometimes I had to understand that they're doing the best they can, you know, at least some of them. And even if they're not, you know, they're just human. They're just humans, just like us. And I feel like we kind of uphold them to a standard. That's something I did too for my dad. I feel like I upholded him to a standard to accept me, you know, to be the dad that I craved for, you know, to love me to the fullest extent within all my flaws, through my authenticity. I expected that. It's like, I had to understand too, like, he probably didn't receive that. You know, my dad is someone who had somewhat of an absent father as well. And so he had to learn things on his own. He had to learn how to grow up on his own and be a man. And so whatever he got within his upbringing, he gave that to me. He was trying to give that to me. And all the other things that I desired, like validation, I just didn't receive that from him because he didn't get that. He wasn't able to receive that growing up. And it's like, I had to realize you can't really give something that you never had. It's hard to, in a sense. You know, when you're conditioned to think certain things and do certain things a certain way. That's all you know. That's all you can teach. And this is not to say that, this is not to really give an excuse or anything. It's not, you know. I feel like I did deserve that. I feel like we all as kids, we all as children deserve that from our parent. We deserve that love, that security, that validation, everything that we crave. We're deserving of that. We are worthy of that. I want to make that clear. We are worthy of that. This is just to say that we need to see this perspective. We need to see that our parents are just kids that are now older, that maybe received some wisdom along the way, but they are still human. They still got a lot to learn. That's something I had to really come to understanding of. My dad is just a boy that has grown up. And so that helped me see him, that helped me give him a lot more grace. That helped me, I feel like, forgive him. Forgive him. It helped me also forgive myself. Because as y'all know, I was going through, and still am going through, and trying to overcome tying my self-worth to what I do within my utility, within working out, within what I do. Trying to disconnect my worth from that external achievement. I'm learning to do that. And it's like, I tie so much of my worth within that, so much of my validation within that, because I craved that from my dad. You know, I wanted him to love me, for who I am authentically. And I would work out so hard. And just give everything my all so I can feel a sense of gratification and love for myself, because I didn't receive that from him. It's like I broke down crying over this exact thing. Not too long ago, I would say maybe 2 months ago, where I was on the phone with my mom and her girlfriend. And at first it was just a cool chat. We were just chatting it up. It was cool. And then we got in depth into my own business and how I be working out and how I look good. You know what I'm saying? Muscles going. Like, I work out and I try to maintain the physique that I have. And she asked me, my mom's girlfriend asked me, she's like, have you ever told your dad a time when you worked out hard, when you were able to push your limits, push past your own limits, and you were able to achieve it? Did you tell your dad that? Did you ever tell your dad, like, Dad, I did it? And when she said that, I remember I was speechless. I started to get filled up with emotion because I never had that. That's why I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing to exhaustion whenever I was working out. Not giving myself the validation, like, you did it, like, you're good. I just kept like, no, I gotta keep going. Maybe I gotta do more. I gotta do more because I didn't get that from him. I didn't feel like I was enough to stop. So in a sense, I was abusing my body to my own unrealistic expectation that I set for myself so I could feel like, okay, I'm good. It's like, in a sense, everyone was telling me I was drowning, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't hear them because I was too deep. And so it was like, when she said that, I just started getting filled up with emotion. I just started crying. And it's like, for me, I don't really cry. I'm someone that, in a sense, holds things in. Not even holds things in, but it's like, it gotta be something that's really, like, something to make me want to cry. And I remember I just started bawling, like, just bawling. And I mean, something that helped me bring me back, you know, after just releasing all this just tucked in energy that I've been holding for years, like not knowing why I work out the way I do. After all this, just releasing all this, you know, I had to give myself a hug. I started to just self-soothe myself. And when I was doing that, I was really hugging little me. I was hugging little me that didn't receive that love, that didn't receive the validation that he so craved from his father. I was starting to hug myself. I started to be there for myself. Be like, it's okay, I'm sorry. Because I was abusing my body. And it's like, I couldn't see that. I really couldn't see that. Like, I was too deep in. But yeah, I needed that moment. That moment was a pivotal moment for me. To where it's like, now I see my dad differently. You know, I don't hold any resentment. Because I know he was doing the best he can. Just sometimes sometimes it came out wrong. You know, it didn't come out the best. You know, execution. And that's what it might be for some of y'all with your parents. Your parents have the best intentions, but sometimes it doesn't come out in the best way. So I just started to give gratitude to him, you know, pray for him. Because really holding resentment in your heart for anybody, that will make you sink further and further and further. It's not going to contribute to your own elevation, your own growth. It's going to contribute to your own decline. Since then, I've just been trying to rewire how I think. And I've talked about this in past videos, but I've been trying to rewire how I think. Like, I don't need to push this hard. I don't need to push this hard. It's like, I'm just becoming more mindful of every single time I feel like I've done enough. I've become more grounded enough to step away and be like, okay, Zion, you're good. Like, you're good. Like, I remember I was in the gym today. You know, I was working out, I was doing my, 2 sets to failure. That's how I began the physique that I got, you know what I'm saying? But I was doing that and I was like, okay, I'm good. Like, I was getting tired as hell, like arms like cannot do another rep. And I was like, I'm good. Because if I wasn't mindful, if I wasn't present of where I was at, I would have just kept going, like not in the moment, like all in my head. And so, yeah. yeah, y'all. I'm still working on it. I still be having my times where I'll, say have episodes where I'll just like lose track of being in the moment and just get caught up in, I gotta finish this run or I gotta do this workout so I can, like, all these unrealistic expectations that I place on myself, Yeah, this is all to say, I really wouldn't have been able to become grounded and understand my worth and my love for myself if I wasn't able to get to the root of it, which was my dad, Like, I love my dad, y'all. I do. I love my dad. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's doing great. It's partly why I just wanted to release this, because it's part of what makes me me, I feel like. It's part of why I'm able to, be able to guide y'all and be of help to y'all. Because it comes from a place where I didn't really receive that from the side of my dad, in terms of being able to express who I am. Like, yes, he loved me. That's not to say that he didn't. I know he does. But to really see me, to be seen for who I am, I didn't really get that. I didn't. And so now I'm learning to give it to myself. I'm learning to provide for myself and give all the love and validation that I crave from him, from any external achievement. I'm learning to give it to myself. And I feel like that's helped me tremendously. The breakthrough that I had has helped me tremendously. But then learning to see my own worth, my own value, waking up every single morning, giving myself a hug. Like, I'm proud of you, Zion. You're doing good, you're doing great. Like, I am beyond proud of you. Keep going. You are enough today. Like, you don't have to prove that to nobody. You don't have to do that. You don't got to do that. You're good. Like, I just started to do that a lot more. And that's just helped me with my own self-worth. My own self-love that I have for myself. That's helped a lot. And I'm beyond grateful for that. I'm beyond grateful that I gave that my attention. I'm beyond grateful that I released this energy, this resentment for my dad, who was trying, he gave me everything he had. He's given me, in a sense, all that he knew. Anything he doesn't, I kind of just have to teach that. I had to guide him into learning more. You know, I talk about learning and unlearning. I feel like he needs to do that too. Everybody needs to do that. Sometimes it's like you don't get the parent that you would desire. You don't. You know, you get what you get. You get what you get. And it's like just making the best out of it and trying to grow that relationship that you have with your parent. You know, that's the best thing you can do. To grow it. To try to nurture it. You know, if it's still savable and, you know, like it hasn't gotten to the point where it's at a point of no return, try to nurture it. Try to build that bond. I'm still wanting him in my life. I would still want to talk to him. I still even sometimes say what's up, text him what's up, hope he's doing well, you know. It's nothing, we don't have like grand conversations, it's kind of be sometimes short, but still, it's something. It's better than nothing, because, you know, my biggest thing is like I don't want to ever have him leave this earth and it's like I wasn't able to express how much I loved him, you know, how much I care for him. It's like I know since he's here, I gotta give myself the opportunity to express that to him, regardless of what he did. Regardless, you know, I have to, for my own conscience as well, so I can be at peace. So this first, I guess, video diary. If y'all watched this video so far, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Stay blessed, stay easy, and forgive. It doesn't have to even be for that person, it has to be for you. And try to nurture that relationship with your parent. Even if it's not your parent, somebody else. Try to nurture that relationship if it's still savable. And if you're wanting to. You know? But I love y'all, I appreciate y'all. Stay blessed, stay easy, and smile today. Alright? Peace.